What's going on, y'all? It's Cone back here again today with another video. You're getting my instant reaction. I was eating lunch, or I guess breakfast. It's like 5 p.m. I haven't eaten all day. I've been doing a lot of stuff. And there's no time to eat right now because the Oklahoma City Thunder, my favorite team, have made a massive deal. They're trading Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso to the Chicago Bulls, seemingly straight up. Like, we haven't gotten any other reports about draft compensation, any other players involved. It just seems like it's a one-for-one swap. Josh Giddey to Chicago, Alex Caruso to Oklahoma City. And I'll talk about it first from, I guess, the Thunder perspective because that's where I'm at. I'm very, very excited. I've gone on record that I just don't think Giddey is going to ever reach his true potential here in Oklahoma City this past season, especially in the playoffs against the Dallas Mavericks. He was pretty much unplayable. It just doesn't make sense to have him with this team if he can't really shoot. He hasn't risen up much as a defender either. I think Giddey has a lot of potential. It was never going to be realized here in Oklahoma City, so it makes sense to send him somewhere else. And I figured his camp might also want that, the chance to go somewhere and maybe blossom a bit more, especially with next year having the chance to earn a big contract and restricted free agency. So now he goes over to Chicago where he's going to have a lot of opportunity. Woj put this little spiel under his tweet that said that the Bulls have been determined to find a playmaker to replace Lonzo Ball, and Giddey, 21, comes with all-star potential that would unlikely be realized with the Thunder because of the playmaking star power surrounding him. Bulls offer him a chance to have the ball in his hands more, pass, score, all that stuff. And yeah, I do think Giddey has a ton of potential, but again, the Thunder are trying to compete for a championship right now. They don't have time to kind of just wait and see what happens. And Alex Caruso is such an amazing acquisition for the Thunder. Knockdown three-point shooter, doesn't shoot it at a crazy volume, but he's going to come off the bench. He's going to provide some of the best defense in the league. He's an all-defensive level guard. Imagine trying to score on a defensive backcourt of Alex Caruso and Lu Dort out there on the court. You could even have Shea over at like the 3 because he's got a lot more size. You can run so many fun 3-guard lineups with those players. You could have him be in like that Lu Dort role as well if you want to move him into some of those closing lineups too if Lu Dort's shot really isn't there. And you have Shea out there with J-Dub, you have Caruso. You could also just have a bench backcourt of Case and Wallace, who's already insane defensively, and Alex Caruso. This was a top 5 defensive team last season, and now they're not only getting more growth, but they added a player in Alex Caruso who makes so much sense, who can space the floor, put the ball on the deck, he can play make, he can defend at a really high level. He is a Swiss Army knife guard, and I think Woj put it under his tweet kind of in terms of maybe like the Warriors when they got Andre Iguodala. I'm not saying it's going to have like that effect where, I mean, Iggy won Finals MVP with the Warriors, but I do think adding that championship level veteran in Caruso makes a lot of sense. And I know some Thunder fans are going to be like, oh, you know, it's another guard, we still need a big. There are still so many routes. Like the Thunder are doing this, a move that I wasn't expecting. I figured that Giddey would be moved in a later potential trade where we add maybe like a center or something like that. No, we just add a high-level player now, and then there's still the draft. We didn't trade pick 12. We still have that as an asset, 1 million first-round picks. Going into the offseason, so much cap space, have like 30 mil. If you want to sign a big there, you can do that too. This is an amazing acquisition. I can't tell you how excited I am about getting Alex Caruso, especially because not only are the Thunder getting him, but you're keeping him away from so many other high-level teams. Like, he could have made so much sense for, like, the Denver Nuggets or the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Dallas Mavericks, like all these great teams in the West that you're trying to compete with. If you're the Thunder, not only do you now get Caruso to help you out, but you don't let another team get Caruso, who is a great defender that they could throw in like a Shea or Jalen Williams. Instead, you get him in town, can guard multiple positions. If you're a Thunder fan that didn't watch much of the Bulls or hasn't watched much Alex Caruso, you are going to love his game. I promise you that. I'm so excited. Also, he played here like for a moment. He was part of like the G League team forever ago. So technically the return of a Thunder legend. Welcome back, Alex Caruso. But yeah, and what this really shows is, which I already kind of figured was the case, but now it's like put into stone, the Thunder are going for it. Like, they realized what they have in their hands. They evaluated the team in this, I guess the beginning section of the offseason after the playoff run, and they said, I know Sam Presti mentioned this in his after the season press conference, the Thunder want more playmaking. That was an issue they had against the Mavericks. They didn't have as much playmaking as them. They wanted to go ahead and find a way to get more into town. And Giddey, he has some great playmaking chops and some passing, but not being a shooter kind of takes away from some of his gravity. Now Caruso can bring that back into the fold. It's extremely exciting. You thought the Thunder were great defense last season. Imagine if they add a big as well as having Alex Caruso. I am stoked. I think I just got another Woj notification, so I'm going to make sure real quick that there isn't anything else. Caruso's entering the final year of his deal, which becomes eligible for a 4-year, approximately $80 million extension. The Thunder have made the trade with the hope to have Caruso as an integral player in the long term. Beautiful. That's exactly what I want to see. And coming from Andrew Schlecht, who is close with the Thunder, he does a podcast. It became apparent, according to Thunder sources, that Giddey and the Thunder weren't going to work out despite both sides wanting to. It gives Giddey a fresh start, gives the Thunder another versatile guard to add to the roster that's ready to compete. That's exactly how I see it. So from the Thunder side, A+, I'm so stoked about this. For the Bulls side of things, to me, this indicates a potential teardown, which is what they should be doing. They should be tearing this thing down. They should be trading away Zach LaVine, letting DeMar DeRozan walk, or doing a sign and trade. And this does come on the heels of the report that the Bulls were trying to find a way to trade Zach LaVine. They called like 15 teams apparently today or within the past few days trying to trade Zach LaVine. So it seems like a teardown may be underway. Now the Bulls do have not Alex Caruso anymore. They have Kobe White and they have Ayo Dosunmu in that backcourt. So I guess Giddey could be like a point forward kind of player for them if they want to go that route. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do. He said that, like I said earlier, they have the hopes of making him one of the featured parts of their team. They want him to have the ball in his hands. And if Giddey goes there and blossoms, you know, that's cool. Like, congratulations to him. But I do think in this moment, it makes a lot more sense for the Thunder to go with this win now player in Caruso rather than trying to develop Giddey in a situation that really just wasn't going to work. I will see what happens over there. I do think if you're the Bulls, if you can get a decent return for LaVine, you can get a decent return and maybe a sign and trade for DeRozan, or even if he just walks, you have that salary space open. You can trade Vucevic. Like, you can trade a lot of players. You can tear this thing down. And I mean, hey, having Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, Patrick Williams, if you do bring him back, there was reports the Thunder were interested. I doubt that's going to come to fruition, but that was a report. But if they keep Patrick Williams in restricted free agency, they've got Giddey now. Dalen Terry has shown some flashes too. You know, Julian Phillips, whatever they do in this year's draft, because they do have a lottery pick. There are some interesting things going on over there in Chicago. Maybe they could trade Lonzo Ball. He plays some of this season, rebuilds up some of his trade value that has been lost over time because of that injury. I do think Chicago could be going down the right path, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed both for the sake of just the general NBA, but specifically for all my Bulls fans that watch this channel or just anyone out there watching this that's a Bulls fan. I hope for y'all's sake that they are tearing this thing down. They're starting from the beginning. There is not the hope to replicate some of the magic you saw in like that 2021 season where they were the 1 seed. They're just too far removed from that. That's not happening with where everybody on the team is at that point in their careers. So yeah, I mean, from the Bulls side of things, it makes sense. I do wonder if maybe they could have gotten more. Maybe they just like Giddey a lot more than a potential lottery pick. Because we got a report a few days ago or like a week ago or so that apparently the Bulls got offered like a top 10 pick and said no for Alex Caruso. So I guess they value Giddey pretty highly, and there is team control there. If he plays well this season, you've got him on restricted free agency going into next year. They, I guess, just view him as a piece that could be huge for them going forward. They decided to deal for him while he didn't have this insane value anymore after not playing great this past year for the Thunder, specifically in the playoffs. But yeah, those are, I guess, my initial reactions to this trade from the Thunder side. I love it. I know some people are going to be like, hey, we need to continue to get a big. Don't worry, there will be other moves made. This is the first trade of the offseason, the first big news. And shout out to Sam Presti. I know there are a lot of Thunder fans that are worried he wasn't going to go for it. He was going to be too patient. This move shows you that Sam Presti and the Thunder are going for it. And as a Thunder fan who wants to capitalize on this window now, while Jalen Williams and Chet aren't making that much money, while Shea isn't on that eventual insane contract he's eventually going to get, I think it makes a lot of sense to go ahead and add a veteran like this in Alex Caruso. Keep him away from opposing teams. He is going to do so many great things for this squad. I cannot wait. You thought the defense was good. Wait till you see with Alex Caruso, just adding another all-defensive player to a team that's already got Shea, Dort, and Chet, who all got all-defensive votes. You know, Jalen Williams does out there. It's special times are coming in Oklahoma City. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the trade. Let me know down below in the comments what you think. What would you grade it? What are your overall initial reactions? And yeah, I appreciate you all watching. I will see you all later. Real one, stay back.